A very good morning to all of you. Myself, Professor Dhaval Chandarana, and we know that we are on a unit number 5 of cyber law and ethics subject known as cyber ethics. Guys, today is the last lecture of this particular unit, so we can conclude that this particular unit unfolds the today's lecture. In this lecture, we will discuss some of the concept behind how to use a latest technology on an ethical way. Second thing which we are discussing is that we will discuss in this particular unit, if we are not implement a emerging technology on ethical way, then what was the different issue will be created for a harmful for the personal life or the professional life, as well as how to harmful for the particular organizations, societal point of view, and for the particular world wide web. So guys, in this particular unit we will understand that if we are introducing a new concept for betterment of life, betterment for our futures, then we need to understand how to use this particular technology in a ethical way, and therefore we need to follow some of the rules which is defined by the governments, which is defined by the industrial persons, and which is defined by the developers who can develop this particular technology. On our previous lecture we will go through these two different concepts behind how to use a AI, artificial intelligence, and what is the important concept behind a blockchain technology, as well as if we are using a blockchain technology, then what was the benefit for our future life. So in this today's lecture we will discuss only one point, and it is the completions of your 5th unit. Today we will discuss the ethical design and the implementations, and it is the last thing which we are discussing in part of this particular chapter. So we will start with the ethical design and the implementations. Once a blockchain is selected as the appropriate technology, because we gone through this in previous lecture how it should be a benefit for our future life, for the future emerging technology, and for the betterment for our organizations. If you have any doubt regarding a blockchain, a different types of blockchain which we are discussing in concept of previous lecture, what are the benefits and what was the different issues which happening if we are not using on a blockchain in ethical manners, then please refer my previous video. The framework moves iteratively through a detailed analysis of 6 root issues for the ethical considerations known as a governance, identity, a verifications and authentications, access and the ownership of data, or we can say ownership of a data, and a security purpose. At each stage, a guiding questions identity the effects of the designing choice on the end users and the communities, because the governments always be provided a generalizes concept in form of use of technology, use of different concept, how to adopt those kind of parameters in a different manner to can improve our society or improve our personal barriers. Then we need to select according to our requirement, according to the market choice, and according to the client specification. How it governs are created and maintained, because at the particular positions or particular time we need to verify all these things which should be provided by the government. So how they can define it, first we need to understand, and how to maintain in a proper manner, it is also part of a most important thing. Second thing, how it is identity defined and establishment, means what are the different parameters through which we can identify that this identity parameters is achieved or not. How are inputs verified and the transactions authenticated, because on a concept of blockchain we need to store each and every transaction on different manner. We can say it is nothing but a log generations. If a transaction should be successful, then also we can store. If a transaction is not be verified or successful, then also we can store. So and further we can identify that what kind of mistake will be happen through which the particular transaction is not succeeds. How it access defined, granted and executed. It is the third parameter, execution. It is the most important concept, because if we are drawing something on a paper, it is just a verifications process. But if the particular thing is should be executed on a proper manner on a legal concept, then it should be most differential concept compared with an on paper process. So it is a very things much important how to execute this particular task as per our implementation, as per our design. How is ownerships of data defined, granted and executed? Because a data it should be stored on a different way, on a distributed manner, on a different locations. So which kind of data, who can access it, how to access it, what kind of requirement should be provided by for accessing those data, and how to verify this particular person, it should be authorized or not authorized. So it is the things which is defined in a different 6 concept, and the last one is nothing but a security setups and ensures. So it is the things which we are discussing in concept of ethical design. This 6th question should be defined how to design a technology which should be available on a market and how to implement it on a proper way. If you identified all these questions and implemented on a practical way, then you can easily get how to introducing a emerging technology on an ethical way to publicly available market. A second thing is this, we will discuss on a different parameters known as a governance. Governance refers to the establishment and maintenance of the rules that govern the entire blockchain system. A fundamental characteristics of blockchain technology is having a rigid sets of rules by which all the transactions within the system are governed. Means on a previous lecture we will say a transparency is a part of a blockchaining, and it is the one of the best advantage to implement a blockchain nowadays. Transparency is nothing but to represent each and every transaction on a proper manner, on a differentiates level, where the client also know how to use it, owner also define how they can use this particular concept. So it is nothing but a transparency which should be defined by concept of governance. Next one, it is nothing but identity. Significancy, ethical considerations surrounded what constitute, we can say, identity, and to whom identity granted in a given blockchain, and how to identity information is used, accessed and protected. Identity is nothing but to access the information, but in a blockchain means how to identify this particular information in form of proper used, in form of accessed, means what are the different information is accessed by the different level of protections, and how to protect this particular information on a different level. Is all these three combination is part of identity. Multiple piece of identifying informations collectively create a digital identity, because everything should be now stored on a digitalized form. Blockchain can be used to establish a limited or the transactional digital identities for the accessing informations or services. Guys, what is a digital identity? I will just give you an example. If you are refer any research paper, any novels, any books through which you can identify this particular number is known as ISBN number, paper identity number, and one of the numbers through which you can easily get this particular research thing which should be validate through the different organizations. So it's nothing but a digital identity, like a QR code on Aadhaar card. Next, verifications and authentications. How inputs are verified and then authenticated is critical in the open ledger system, because everyone we are using on a public criteria. So what are the different inputs should be required from the user side? If they are provide a valid data, then it should be the process to verify these particular inputs on an authenticated way. It is some critical process behind how to authorize these particular inputs which is provided by the validate users. Verifications of informations put onto a blockchain present a range of challenges, because it should be available on a publicly market. For a digital assets such as cryptocurrency or a digital photographs, the verification process is closely related to the transactions authentication process to determine if the entity initiated a transaction has control over the assets, because everything is in form of soft copy or on a soft manner. Then some verification and authentication processes are completely complex compared with the harder process. Like if someone person who can easily identify if they are available on a physical way, so we can easily verify this particular person. But same thing, if the particular person provides an input in form of soft copy like a photograph and signatures, then it should be very complex process for authorize or authentications of this particular person is validate or not. Next one is the access. The definitions defining A granting and the execution of access are critical to any person's ability to use and interact with a blockchain system. Means on a particular level, they are the authorized persons, and if they are verified as an authorized people, then we need to access some kind of technology, some kinds of data, or some kind of transaction through which they can implement some another level of research or a technological way. So it is nothing but the access. Also, the scope of access to individuals' persons' informations on a blockchain many results in a serious implications for those individuals if that information is exploited, because the data it should be require a more secure. If some of the security level is issue, then every data should be leaked from the public place. So the blockchain technology is always be linked according to the different block which should be defined on a previous lecture. The blockchain technology is work blocks of data, it should be connected on a virtual chain. So if some of the chain it should be broken, then all the data should be a misplaced. It is nothing but the access. Then a data ownerships who can provide, who can build a data, who can use those particular informations, and how the data should be uploaded. There are the important questions about who owns this data, who exercise a control over the data, where and how the data is stored, and how adjustments are made for the incorrect informations. Last things, it should be most important, everything should be a validate, but how to validate this particular informations is a validate or correct form or incorrect form. It is also the task which should be defined by the data ownerships. So it is the things which we are discussing in form of ethical design and implementations. A complaining characteristics of blockchain is its ability to give the users the power to exercise a fundamental control over the data, because blockchain is one of the technology through which a particular person or a group of peoples or an organization who can create implementations or a proper websites, or we can say proper applications through which they can provide some product, and for this a data ownership is must be required. So in a further, what are the different data we need to upload it on a particular products, which data is moved to a particular products or not, the data should be a correct one or not, it all the responsibility provided by the data ownerships. And the last thing in form of this particular unit as well as in this particular lecture is nothing but a security. So data can be scattered throughout the distributed infrastructures, because in form of security, if we are storing a data on a single central structures, then a hacking is maybe possible, because if someone would try to hack this particular server on a single centralized manner, then it should be really easy to access each and every informations. But a data should be in a distributed manner, then they need to access all and each server on a replicated manners. Then and they can getting all this informations. Thus, the reducing the vulnerability compared with a data that is aggregated and stored in a one locations. So vulnerability is nothing but to provide one kind of mistakes. It should be happen on a software side as well and for the human being sides. So compare with the data that is aggregated and stored in a one locations. Concept of a security. Individual user do not need to remember the passwords or a link their personal information such as the email address or telephone numbers to collections of stored informations, because if nowadays everyone websites it should be defined you need to remember your username and passwords. So if someone use your computer system, then they can directly get your username and passwords. If they are filling your username, then the computer system always be provide your password, because we need to accept that remembers checkbox. So nowadays there is no requirement in form of blockchain, because every time username and password will be upgraded. Every time you need to upgrade your username and password on automatical manner, so no one can use your username and password on a replicate manners, or we can say reuse your username and passwords. So it is nothing but a security level, and a blockchain technology will provide a larger security, betterment security, and on we can say complex security availability of a platform. If we compare all the technology which are available right now in compare with the blockchain, they are provide a more and better security compared with the all availability of platform. So things which we are discussing is nothing but a ethical design and the implementations. So guys, this is the things which we are discussing in form of unit number 5, cyber ethics. I hope you are cleared. I hope you are going through all my lecture to understand about a different units, different topics, and each topic we have some given example, so you can easily understand each and every terminology which we are discussing in form of video lecture. I hope you are like my videos. Thank you so much.